we're live already. Kachi wanted to say something before we go live. Kachi,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah.
Kachi is going to be anchoring the show today.
No, no, I'm not going to take that seat. But yeah, good day, everyone and listeners. I just wanted to apologize ahead of time that our boxing experts in Sheyi and Olainka are not in today. So if you join us to hear the review of the fight between Eubank
Urban
Jr.,
Junior.
just tell you the results, but we will not go into the details. Stay tuned for a good one.
All right, perfect. My name is Lanija Adeboale. I'm rocking the Los Angeles cardigan today. My face card by James Plotting. I'm looking all that part today. Just to share Olawale and of course Aukachi. Olawale is wearing a Brazilian jersey. Brazil that could not qualify for the final of the World Cup. It's still the best show in the whole wide world. It's still New Citizen Sports. And we end, of course, on a band radio scope on our YouTube channel and any podcast that you can think of that you can listen to us. We give you the best analysis. Like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy our viewership. I'll allow the analyst to introduce himself. I'll start with Olawale.
Yeah, good day, sporting fans around the world. Welcome to the show. It's been a fantastic weekend of football. Arsenal United took us back memory lane. They gave us those one of those type of classic, as in instant classic games. You know, when United and Arsenal gets to the field to play, I still believe these two teams were responsible for probably 60% of the popularity of the Premier League, about what the Premier League is today. The rivalry in the late 90s up to like 2006 was there is nothing you can compare to that rivalry.
Yeah.
And I think despite United losing the game, I enjoyed the game. It was one of those games that you feel like, wow, United Arsenal looks like where you want them to be.
Yeah, all right, perfect. Oracle Kachi is back. The bearded Oracle Kachi is back.
Yes, I'm back. I'm not going to talk about Iga Swiatek or anything happening on the women's side of the Australian Open. I want to re-echo Olawale's sentiment that for the first time in a very, very long time, United versus Arsenal game looked to be a title deciding fixture. A fixture that this pretty much changes the tide of where the title would ultimately end up in. We will go into the details, but it was thoroughly enjoyable by all neutrals such as myself. And I can't wait to see how the United team would shape up after having a full off-season with ETH. He's stamping his authority, his presence. The result may have been different if a certain Casemiro was on the field of play today. But we'll go into all that. Stay tuned for a great one. You will not want to miss this edition.
All right, perfect. We're just going to start with other sports right now. And there's a guy that is stealing a living in the NBA right now, according to Steve A. Not according to me. But honestly, Ben Simmons has been a no-show. Steve A claimed that he intentionally got ejected from the game against the Suns, and you're looking at it. There's a little bit of truth in whatever Steve A is saying. Ben has not been showing up, and like I said before we started the show, I said one of the greatest mistakes that I feel the net made was they should have stacked Steve Nash, because Ben Simmons has not added anything tangible to the Brooklyn Nets since he came. Last season, it was a back injury. He did not play game 4 that we thought he was going to play. He came out to say, he did not even say anything. Just on the court side with his bling bling, doing nothing. Same thing at the start of the season. We thought probably it's going to look a little bit better. But what we've seen so far of Ben has been a classic Ben. No remorse. The attitude is poor. Even the sporting ability is shaky, and is not a representation of what is expected of a player of his talent, quote and unquote. Malali, I'm going to start with you on that one.
Yeah, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons' case, as far as the Brooklyn Nets is concerned, has become a very complicated case because as it stands now, I'm not sure the Brooklyn Nets are going to get if even if you want to put him up for trade, I'm not sure what you could get in return. Probably except for a clear in cap space. Probably you get a little bit of more cap space in terms of the money available. Because in terms of quality return,
Alale, just to correct you there, even if they let him go now, he's going to still be against the cap space because he's guaranteed money, so it's dead cap pretty much. He has to leave out his contract right now.
So basically, it's because for someone, I understand that KD and Kyrie by default are to carry the offensive burden of this team. Mm-hmm. Nobody is even expecting Ben Simmons to come and score 25 points per game, which I think he has the ability to do. But at least for somebody who see as the third option,
yeah.
People think is a top is among what you could call a big three. Averaging less than 7 points per game since the beginning of this season is not acceptable. But that is the start from a role player, from a player that comes from the bench and probably plays 10 minutes, 15 minutes at most. Not from a player who plays over 30 minutes and is a regular starter. You can't be. When Harrison Barnes was like the third option in the Golden State Warriors, he averages like 18 points. When probably Chris Bosh was the third option in Miami, even though LeBron James and Dwayne Wade carries the offensive body, it is not like Chris Bosh was scoring 2 or 3 points. And in games when either LeBron or Dwayne Wade were absent,
struggled.
You see his scoring point is scoring going as high as 25, 28, 30 at time. So that is what is expected. And why this became a big problem for the Brooklyn Nets was because
KD's out
was not available. Even though yes, I had reservation about Kyrie's performance in the initial 2 or 3 games, but in the last 2 games, he has come into his own. He scored 30 in the loss to Phoenix, and he scored I think 48 points in the win against the Utah Jazz. That is what we are expecting from Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons should be able to score, but now I think it's becoming a psychological problem. I think he's so afraid to shoot. He's getting worse. I don't think he's getting better for him. And like you said, I don't think he's. And the main problem is, I'm not sure he's seeing it as an issue, which is now the biggest problem because at times self-awareness is the biggest asset you can have as a person. The moment you lack that self-awareness, you see everybody there as a hater. Every criticism has been a hater, and this is where for me the
real issue lies.
On because I understand it does some other things for them, playmaking, defending, but no, you need Ben Simmons as it is unplayable in the last few minutes of a close game. Is unplayable because the strategy will be easy. Just foul Ben Simmons, let him go to the line, and you get the possession back because you are sure if he goes to the line 10 times, he's not certain of making 3 out of probably 20 free throws as it stands now. So if Sirius said he's stealing a living, 100%, that is what it is.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much, Lali. Kashi, what's the Brooklyn Nets without KD right now? Looks like since KD was out, which is understandable anyways, it's like you saying the same way that the Lakers have been struggling without AD, the same way that the Clippers was struggle without Kawhi or Paul George. Yeah, so it's understandable. But how do we? What's the thing that they could do, presumably, that could help them to cushion the effect of losing KD? Because just imagine it was playoff season, and they lost KD. Game 4 is not going to be able to play for the next 2 games.
5 to 7.
Exactly. So what are the things that they could possibly do that to cushion this effect, or nothing? Just ensure that KD is available. Otherwise, buy to any form of glory.
Okay. Thanks, Debo. Before I answer that, I just want to say something really quickly on the Ben Simon issue.
Yeah.
I think the entire media, us inclusive, need to render rather, an unreserved apology to Russell Westbrook. When you compare what Ben Simon is doing to what he's making to what Russell Westbrook was doing. Because even when Russell Westbrook was breaking all his shots last year, he was never afraid to take those shots. He was available. He did not feign injury. He kept trying to make threes, even though he would shoot the breeze. And the whole world tore him to shreds. Ben Simmons right now is doing a whole lot worse than that. So I believe we owe Russell Westbrook, and I want to, on behalf of my colleagues here, apologize to Russell Westbrook wherever he is. Now, to your question, I think the Brooklyn Nets is a playoff team, but not a championship contending team without KD.
Without KD.
Are you even sure they're a
Now,
playoff team?
they can make the playoffs, maybe via the play-in, simply because KD has given them a lot of cushion that they will have to be so
Poor.
inept, so bad to lose all that capital that KD has helped them
Build.
develop from the number of wins they have so far. I think they are currently the fourth seeded team, I think, in the East, based on the win-loss reserve. I need to confirm that, but I think they're fourth seeded right now if the season ended now. Right now, I believe the Nets sincerely felt that they already fixed a potential KD absence issue by having a third person in Ben Simmons. They needed a big three. Typically, every championship winning team has always had a third wheeler in the event of 1A or 1B disappearing. We talked about the Heat tenor where Chris Bosh always came in clutch in the absence of a Wade or a LeBron. We talked about in the event of the Celtics big three, they had a Rajon Rondo who was not in the big three, but always came to play in the event of a Kevin Garnett or Pierce or Ray Allen being suspended or injured. So I sincerely feel the Nets felt we have a big three. That's why they could let Steve Nash go, or even let a certain James Harden go, because they sincerely thought somehow, some way, Ben Simmons will come back. Not necessarily because he's a non-shooting PG. We've always, it sounds so crazy when we say this, but a very funny anecdote. Patrick Beverly is averaging more than Ben Simmons right now.
That's crazy.
But coming back to the question, the Nets can probably survive and get into the playoffs without KD. And this is on the condition that Kyrie is available for the rest of the year. Because if it's KD alone, they can probably still get to the conference semifinal without Kyrie. But without KD, I do not think they will make it out of the first round. Remember, they had KD and Kyrie last year, and they still got swept. So right now, they need, based on what is happening, they need a second, or let's say a third wheeler, because they do not have that in Ben Simmons. Is that person available? I don't think so. I hear, however, that they've started talks with Dwight Howard, who is currently in
China.
Is it China or
China.
Taiwan?
Taiwan.
To come back and probably hold that 5 position for them and come from the bench. It probably won't be a starting 5. But in the event that they have a Dwight Howard who seems to have resurrected he has stoked the flame of the dying part of his career, he can still provide 12 to 15 points a game. If that works, then maybe they stand a chance to compete without KD. But right now, the way they are currently shaped, first round of the playoffs, they will be out without KD.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Kachi. Thank you very much for Tunde for saying up Gunners. He's saying Gunners. Of course, the Arsenal fans are happy. You should expect that. That's what they do. when they manage to win once in a blue moon. Anyways, going to the All-Star ratings. Olale, I'm going to read out your All-Star ratings for you. I don't know if you've changed your mind yet or not. In the East, um, you have Donkey, you have Luca, you have Ja Morant, you
Okay,
have
that's nice.
Williams Zion for in the West. You have Joker and you have LeBron.
Mhm.
And on the flip side, on the east side of things, you have um, Adetokunbo, you have KD, you have Tatum, you have Jalen Brown, which I feel is I don't know, is somehow, and of course you have Donovan Mitchell. Um, mine, well, of course, there will be a little bit of sentiment there. On the West, I have definitely the Joker. I have the King. I have AD, Steph, and of course Luka. And in the East, I have Jonathan Mitchell as well with Kyrie, and I have Giannis. I have Joel Embiid and KD. Good choice for me, but unfortunately, a certain Oracle Kachi does not have any all-star voting, so we cannot even analyze whatever it is that he
I
chose.
think was I upset when you did your initial
No, you were
voting?
not absent. You were just waiting. You kept waiting that you will show up later, and you never showed up uh to the forum to give us your all-star rating team. Anyways, what do you think? Any change for you, Olale? Quick one.
Well, let me just summarize the reason behind my looking at the East.
Yeah.
I think the front court was very difficult for me to probably for Joel Embiid, who's averaging over 31 points per game this season, to have probably left him out of that looks a little bit.
Started five.
If I could probably alter the setup, and probably if I can take Jason Tatum to the backcourt,
Yeah.
I can play him as a two guard for me, just to, because I think
You want to accommodate.
The East doesn't really have much options when it comes to the backcourt. You can imagine Kyrie Irving leading the votes there. Kyrie that had issues at the beginning of the season, and that was the reason why those issues, and because he didn't play much games, that was why I left him out of my team. And I look at the Celtics; they are the best team in the league. They have the best record. Why won't I have their best player, Tatum, on the All-Star team?
Oh, okay.
And if I feel like there are no much options in the backcourt, why not having the second best player in that team, Jalen Brown, in my team? So that was so I think for that was the reason why I have to leave out Joel Embiid.
Oh,
For the West, the backcourt was something very I would say a bit dicey for me. It was difficult leaving out Steph Curry, but what I probably put into consideration was that if you look at the Golden State Warriors record, they are more of above. I think they are just getting above plus 500 in the league now, and they've not been playing very well on the road.
Yeah.
And Steph Curry has missed some couple of games. Luka Doncic has had some signature games during this season. Is the only reason why the Dallas Mavericks are where they are. And for the big mouth, the Grizzlies boys,
you can't leave on Ja.
You can't take it away from Ja. He continued from where he stopped last season. He's been doing fantastically well. So that was why I have to settle for Ja. And for the front court, I think those guys selected themselves. Zion Williamson has been a force.
I don't agree with Zion Williamson anyways, and your Jalen Brown.
I think he's been a force. He has missed some games, but he's been fantastic.
Well,
he's been more available than Anthony Davis. I was surprised a lot.
Oh yeah, sure that
Anthony Davis and LeBron and Nikola Jokic, they automatically select themselves. I didn't want to select a 38-year-old LeBron.
You can't help. I know you're a hater, but you can't help it.
Let me finish. But I just felt like, is there any justifiable reason of not selecting a LeBron? I said yes, so LeBron has to be there.
I know a certain man that a couple of weeks ago said LeBron was not top 10 in the NBA, and it was as if LeBron was listening, and LeBron came back, and I'm pretty sure that my very good friend cannot say that again.
The criticism was very constructive.
But you don't mention any name. Why you?
No, you don't have to. I own up. I own up to every single thing I said. I still believe that it's a case of the people who should take over the league being too reluctant to do so. Because at 38 years old, LeBron should not be the face
top 10. Yeah, 100%. But I think we will all agree that guys like LeBron, guys like Ronaldo are not normal.
No, but
they're not normal.
They're not normal.
They're not normal. Kachi, I agree with you. This is what you're saying now. Look at where is Kawhi now? He's still
right now. Yes.
What is he doing? He's still what they call load managing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said I didn't want to select LeBron. I was looking like
everybody that came into the NBA with LeBron,
there's nobody to select.
They are not there again. Yeah,
exactly.
So everybody that came in with LeBron.
Really, so it's a classic case of what's happening with Arsenal right now. The people who should take over or who should be the nearest competition are shooting themselves in the foot.
Come on, Kachi, give Arsenal their flowers. No, I won't take that.
We also
I know Arsenal fans are listening, but
we also made Arsenal fans that are listening. One is saying, I said they are not. They managed to win today, so they will not allow us to breathe. And he said, no, why? Can you imagine? Why are you saying that? Anyways, from there we'll move to the Grizzlies, where we had another one. The guy that still trains as if he's still playing in the NFL. Shannon Chappell, his mouth is sharp. He has the attitude, he has the mental fortress to back it up as well. An off-cycle issue escalated quickly when we have Tim Moran, the father of Ja Morant, come in and it was like, okay, come on, bring it on. If you guys want to respect LeBron, and of course, this is just about his support for LeBron, basically. His support for LeBron. That's what caused this whole fiasco. But like, you can't disrespect people. And like I said, behind closed curtains or before pre-production, during our production call, is the fact that some things you can't take back. If you are so defiant, you are so silly enough to not to give flowers to the legends. I understand the scope of let's talk trash, let's do this, let's do that, but there's always a limit to it. And the Grizzlies have been building this up. If anybody wants to come through them, they don't see anybody in the West that can go through them. They only fair a team, and this is a team. They've not even been to the NBA finals. What is it? They've not even been to conference finals. Thank you very much. They've not even been to the conference finals. NBA finals is even a long shot. They've not even been to the conference finals, and I'm making this kind of amount and going about it in an absolute disgraceful manner. That's the way I'm going to put it. It's disgraceful. And I want to take your opinion about this. I don't agree with it. You know how much I love Ja Morant. I love Benz. I love this that tall guy, Steve Adam or whatever his name is.
Yes,
I love them, but this is just going beyond. It's going beyond normal. It seems like they can't back up whatever it is. They did the same thing they get the Golden State Warriors, and Klay Thompson did not talking Klay Thompson. Show them. See, we have 4 rings. We don't go about saying these things without anything to back it up. And strangely, they might not be able to back it up. Anyway, anyhow, I don't see them beating even the Lakers if AD is around. I'm telling you.
You have a very valid point. If there's a healthy AD, I don't think
they can beat the Lakers over a 7-game series.
It's going to remind people of the Mavs of last year, who relied entirely on shooting the three, and you can't have the three falling every time or at a very good rate over 7 games. The Mavs saw that was their tactic going against the Warriors, and they only had those threes falling in 2 of those games, and those were the 2 games they won. Yes, in Bane and in Ja, you have budding superstars. I agree, but to your point, LeBron playing, averaging at age 38, even averaging higher than he averaged when he was 23, at 27.5 points per game, and an all-star AD with Russell Westbrook coming as the sixth man.
Yeah.
You know how playoff Pat Beverly is. Playoff Pat would come and lock down a few of them. But if that question was directed at me, a little bit of a background. You are right. Shannon was speaking to Dillian Brooks, telling him you can't guard LeBron. And rather than Dillian to, you can jaw with fans. They are
100%.
Cut side fans. You jaw with them as long as it's not abusive. But his response to Shannon, the Hall of Famer, was to drop an F-bomb. And Shannon, obviously, sitting courtside, has probably sipped one too many Le Portier cognac, which he sells. And at that point, he could not resist his inner LeBron fan to come up. All that being said, it is getting tiresome watching this Grizzlies team continue to jaw and talk trash to the rest of the league when they have not proven themselves.
Exactly.
LeBron only adopted the villainous approach after he won his first ring, I believe, with the Heat. That was when he decided, okay, you want to make me the villain for moving to Miami from Cleveland, I will be the villain. Kawhi became the villain after locking down LeBron when the Spurs won that championship. I'm pretty saying for every single person that has become a villain in the league or the media has turned out to be a villain, they had won. Ja has, I don't even think this will probably be his second All-Star selection if he makes it ultimately. I don't think Bane is an All-Star. So everything they are saying right now for a small market team, it's becoming too much. You are putting too much of a target on your team.
Exactly.
I'm interested in seeing how they will go, because the referees will swallow the whistle come playoff. Some of these fouls, these reaching fouls you are getting easily are going to the line. Ask my man, the beard, why he hasn't been as productive in the playoffs as the regular season. It's because fouls he gets called for in the regular season, the rest will not call it. So Ja and Bane, I don't know. And then Ja's father has to realize, rein in your son. You are not, for Shannon Sharp, he got to the pinnacle of his own sport.
Yeah.
He won the Super Bowl 3 times.
He's
made
an
it to the
all-star.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He's perennial all-pro footballer. Tim Morant, you don't have that pedigree. You are not even the Lava Ball.
Yeah.
Lava at least played. Lava Ball
Exactly.
played the sport and raised 3 sons to get to the top of his career. So it's becoming entirely frustrating what is happening in Memphis. They're putting too much of a target on their back, not just from players, but from the referees. And it will become very obvious very soon when they start getting some calls that are questionable.
Don't worry, Nash. We saw what the Golden State Warriors did to them last season. There will be another repeat. The thing is about just trash talking and you can't back it up. Anyways, Alani, I don't know if you have 1 or 2 things to say about that before we go on a quick break.
Okay, let me just say this. Since they drafted Ja Morant, I think 3 seasons ago, this is a franchise that I think they've what will I say? They've positioned themselves as setting up a culture of we are going to play hard every night, which is fine, which is what we want every NBA team. They are very competitive. I think their attitude started with when Andre Iguodala was in that team. He was traded there and he refused to play, trying to get himself traded out of the place, and those boys felt disrespected. And at that point, everybody probably agreed with them, like, wow, yes, but they took that what do you call it? That team with Andre beyond where it was supposed to be. And we've seen some of this attitude, like Kachi said, they've made themselves easy target. The last thing you want is to give your opponent the extra motivation to come and play against you. I'm sure no matter how bad the Golden State Warriors will be against any team in the West, they
They'll
will
be
be
the
extra
Grizzlies
motivated if they are
against the
playing
Grizzlies. Yeah,
Grizzlies.
they did
I
it
still
already
saw,
this season.
if you watch the interview, if you watch Draymond Green interview with Stevie A, Draymond Green hosted Stevie A on his show.
on this
So Stevie A
podcast.
was asked about the teams in the West. Draymond Green probably respected any other team, but when he said Grizzlies,
The Grizzlies.
he said when Stevie A said Grizzlies, he said, "Do you think those guys are ready?" That's to show you. I think they need to
The kind of
focus
sentiment they
more.
have on their
They need to
basketball,
focus more on their basketball
on their craft.
Mhm.
Yeah,
and let
exactly.
their basketball do the talking
Exactly.
rather than be the one doing. People could accommodate Draymond Green all sort of garbage because he's a 4-time NBA
NBA champion. He has done it. Been there, done that. Anyways, we're going to short break right now. When we come back, we'll be talking about football. Just to put it out there, the two-time MVP of the NBA is not top 15 selling jerseys in the NBA. I don't know how
I don't
that
know.
is
I
possible
don't
in any
understand.
world, but
I
of
do
course,
not
Wahala is too
understand
much.
them.
so someone needs to call Joker and tell him that his
Nicola
PR his PR is so bad. If you are the best player in the NBA and you cannot sell jersey, even Amelo, even Amelo Ball sells more jerseys than Joker. Anyways, go on break. I will back. Don't go anywhere, guys.